Hello and welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Burbos. We're here for the Q&A podcast. Head over to the NRL SuperCoach Experience Facebook page, Facebook group. I put out a thread for this every Monday, and then you answer your questions below on the thread, and we read it out. All you have to do is join the group, and then you'll get featured on the podcast like this. I'm here with Timmy Moody, the 2021 champion. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. Really excited.
How are you on this Thursday afternoon?
Good. We're doing questions at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, we are doing questions.
The questions part. Yeah, no, I'm really good. I was like having a really good day. Mikey pissed me off at one point the other day, but then I just kept going on with the day and it was all good, you know.
So you guys would already see our bold predictions. They are out there on our Instagram, the SC Experience. There was a bit going on in the chat. A friendly fire. There's a bit of rift in the camp in the SuperCoach Experience chat. I think these bold predictions and keeping a tally has brought the best out in people. I love it. But our first question is Adam Hensworth. Probably related to Chris and Liam, I assume.
I'd say so.
So it's good to know we have royalty listening to our podcast. Would you trade Cleary if it means to get Holmes and Hammer?
I like Holmes and Hammer. Yeah, I think Hammer's. Yeah, look, I was very close to bringing him in myself this week. Still thinking about it, but yeah, I sort of had a bit of a closer look at Hammer, and I'm just not 100% sold. Just the scores. I just felt the big ceiling's not there. He does so much, kind of like a bit like Reece Walsh can be. Reece Walsh is a bit of a different level, I think, obviously. But yeah, for me with Hammer, I'm a bit like I don't think he's a bad trade. I just think there could be a better one. But yeah, I do like those trades.
A very low break even, has a pretty good draw in the next 2 weeks. I don't know if he's a long-term option. I think he can score well over the next couple of weeks.
Seems like I think he'll be getting 70s, 80s like pretty easy. I think you might get the odd, 50, 40, but I reckon 70s, 80s are like he's pretty consistent for that from the eye test, I reckon.
Do you think his floor is a little bit lower than the average centre wing? Just because I think he has grown as a player.
Not the average centre wing. I wouldn't say the average centre wing. I'd say then the gun centre wings. I'd say it's lower than the gun centre wings, not the average centre wings. The thing about Hammer, he's got that mad speed. He just burns people. He had a load of tackle busts in that first game where he played terribly or whatever. I think it was like 24 points or something in tackle busts, and he boom, get away too quick. Just barely even has to push him away. He just just touches him, and he's and the speed to get line breaks. And I definitely think he's a good option.
James Rhodes, best centre wing to buy this week. Dom Young, the Hammer, DWZ, Holmes, or Garrick. They're all pretty good options, all very highly traded in this week. But which one do you think is the best one?
Oh, it's hard to say. I don't have Garrick, and he's not on my plans, and he's someone I'm like, he's mad. Like just the goal kicking factor is elite. I think that we've been concerned about him in the centres compared to what had been on the wing. He's showing he's just pumping out mad scores.
Yeah.
He's involved in the attack. He's involved in the big plays and stuff. The goal kicking versus a lot of them is the nice thing. I think he might be a bit more expensive than some of these guys. I think some of like Hammers and Doms are like 6.5K, but I think Garrick might be closer to 8. Am I right?
Yeah.
Or
800.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's could be 793. I'm not exactly sure. I should have got SuperCoach.
But I like Dom Young. I think on that right wing for the Roosters.
The thing about Garrick is after this week he has Penrith and the Warriors. So I'll be targeting someone like maybe Hammer does have an easier matchup over the next couple of weeks. Got the Titans. So if it's someone, I'm getting this guy now, but this guy's in my plans later. I think Garrick is probably last on that list. Dom Young plays Penrith this week, bit under strength this week. So
I think potentially Hammer scores the most points this week out of those guys. Just with that matchup, could have an absolute field day against the Titans.
Yeah, so Garrick 753 with a break even of 72. Plays the Dragons this week though. So
yeah, so with Garrick with that break even, you can wait on him. You don't have to go it. It's not like he's not gonna have too much of a price rise at all. Even if he scores 100, he won't go up much. You could wait on him.
Yeah. What about Holmes? Do you think he's
Holmes one of them?
Yeah,
because I've got him and he's locked into my side. He's not sort of on
You're just thinking about players that you want to get in yourself.
So Holmes I'd put as number one. Yeah, I just think he's elite for, the amount of goal kicks he's going to get in that side is one thing. Even when he has a bad game, the amount of goal kicks, and even if he's not involved in the tries, he'll have a lot of
for
to
sure.
just boost, and he's got a good work rate, and
I
he
like
showed on
Garrick.
the weekend how zippy he is. And
I think with these centre wings though, like Holmes in the first 3 weeks has had pretty good matchups. These centre wings, you've got to target them when they've got good draws because, like Holmes will play. Holmes hasn't played a Penrith or a Melbourne yet.
Yeah.
When that happens, he's not going to have that ceiling. So I think you've got to target the guys with the better matchups. Kirby O'Brien, it's a really long question here, so I'm not going to read it all out, but it says, what's the biggest priority? And he goes down to pretty much explain what his front row, second row, half, 5'8", centre wing and fullback are. Need 10 trades to sort out my team. It's doing my
hard
head
to
in.
answer his big priority if you're not going to go through his whole question.
I think it's definitely team dependent. He said he's got Kepi and May. Get the Cowboy Knight, or he's got Nico. These long questions are probably not going to get answered, so you've got to summarise it to the best of your ability. But this is more something where we need to look at your team and.
I'd say your biggest priority is if you need to get a player that's got a lower break even, is going to zoom up, probably get that guy.
Yeah.
Probably, I guess for this guy's side, he's probably going to have carnage as well. Just, you got to...
It says here, sort out 5'8", get Galvin. I would suggest get Galvin because if you feel like your side's in all sorts, making money is going to help that down the track.
Free that up.
10 trades right now might help it. But making sure you've got money growth is going to help it down the track regardless.
10 trades will help it.
Well, say if you had 10 trades to use right now.
In 1 week.
Your side, exactly. Your side could get fixed, but you can't do that. So the best way to counteract that is make cash. So take the hit now, and I assume if you've started this badly that overall you might have shot yourself in the foot.
Oh, that's just making assumptions.
That's making assumptions that your side's dog shit.
You could be killing it. And just because you're killing it, it takes this for your players to have a couple of good weeks. They've got cash generation there, stomaching it.
You could be killing it and not happy with your side. So if that's the case...
Chin up everyone.
Just relax. Just relax. Just make money. Each Huron, Taylor May or Dom Young or the Hammer. Taylor May to Dom Young or the Hammer.
I think I prefer Dom Young long term.
Do you think Taylor May's a sell?
I think Dom Young's got a bigger ceiling, can get bigger 150s in him. He's proven that in the past. I liked him on that right wing. The Hammer, though, like eye test the last 2 games, even
Looks
though
good,
you say like he did have a bad game and that silly little kick he did to kick it back into Laybutt, I think it's arms to score or whoever it might have been in round 1. You think, terrible game, but he had a lot of good moments throughout that game that accumulated points. So still passing eye test there. And then last week with the 3 tries, you go. He's only scored just under 100 points, and he scored 3 tries. You'd want more. But the type of player he is, I think he's a guy that you can rely on most weeks to be involved in a try.
Yeah.
Or scoring a try himself, or having to, or he's electric, he's elite, and he's gotten a lot bigger.
The fact he is fullback, that just counteracts a lot of...
But if I'm just picking one, I'd just say Dom Young.
But back to my question, Taylor May. Do you think you would...
I was answering his question, but to your question, yep.
Would you sell Taylor May?
No, I'd hold on to him. There's a lot more.
Do you think without Cleary that's an issue, or that could be good for him?
No, he's an individualist. He takes individual runs, but busts the line doing tackle busts. Let him do his thing.
Yeah. Lyle Old, shout out Lyle. He's very active on the YouTube lives on Sunday nights with Mikey and Jake. Here are my trades. First 2 pretty straightforward. Cleary to Brooks. Tulpiki to Galvin via Jules, and my boost, which I feel like I'll use for a Taylor May for Holmes or Burbo for Garrick. Thoughts? So May for Holmes or Burbo for Garrick?
Yeah, I'd be going Burbo to Garrick, just because I still think you've got a better side by holding on to May, having May and Garrick in your side for that factor. But then what was the other one was just Holmes, wasn't it?
It was Taylor May for Holmes.
Yeah, so I'd prefer to have Holmes now because I think you could get a bit out of reach price wise. Or you'll be paying a lot more than what you had to. Whereas with Garrick, you can sort of wait a week or potentially another week or two.
I think someone like Garrick, especially with Penrith and Warriors after this week, I'd be looking at someone else, like around the price range.
He doesn't seem as exciting, but he's getting the job done.
Yeah,
and he's kicking the goals, and the side is just really good. So
Braden Osborne, who is the better sell out of Lane, Fermor, and Smithies?
I'd probably say Smithies.
I think Smithies, yeah.
I'm not that hot on Fermor.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty
duddy at the moment.
Yeah, they've got to be sold eventually. But Smithies with Horse...
No offense, my man. I actually sold Fermor last week and still have Lane and Smithies and not liking either of them. So I'm not trying to bag your players. It's just,
Well, Smithies with Horsburgh back, we don't know what the minutes rotation looks like. 38 points, playing big minutes on the weekend. That's
very
a bit of a concern.
Vanilla.
And that game, the Warriors-Canberra game, was very grindy. So you would have thought that would have worked perfectly for Smithies' favour. It didn't. He got taken off after, 68 minutes or something like that. So I think Smithies is the sell first because Fermor and Lane are playing 80 minutes. And with Moses out, Lane and Brown should link up a couple more times than we've seen in the first couple of weeks. Billy McCracken, what a name. Let's make a topic on injuries, fellas. Do you think the NRL need to have a look at some of the rule changes they have made because players are dropping like flies and it's only 3 rounds in? Keen to hear your thoughts, lads.
Yeah, I feel like I'll just be gibbering if I form an opinion on this. Like, I don't feel like I'm educated enough into fitness and the body and, the way that the game's changed and how that affects it. So I don't think I'm the right person to be answering that question.
I'd love to answer this question. Not many trades. Sorry, someone was calling me, so it's just put me off. Not many rule changes that affect fitness levels have changed. It's only been that dropout rule which has really affected things. I think coming into this season, a lot of teams are really competitive early, and I think what they've done is they're playing at a high click much earlier than most teams are planning to because the competition's gotten so tight. A lot of teams, like the lower tier teams, have better rosters. Every team knows that banking wins early is important. Like Penrith, they look way better right now than they have at this point of the season since 2020. Like the last 2 years, they've started slow. They've started a lot quicker this year because I just think the competition's getting that much better that every win counts. Every single win counts. So a lot of teams are really emphasising on...
So you think they're just going harder? Do you think that means going harder means more injuries?
Yeah.
Stronger contacts, running faster, stepping
not necessarily,
with a bigger uzz?
Not necessarily stronger contacts, but usually... A lot of teams like the Roosters, they've always started slow.
High intensity training.
I think just starting the season so needing to win every game is going to cause this. And this is the balance you got to make with I guess injuries are so hard to predict though, because like you look at the Cowboys, they've emphasized on starting fast. They've won 3 from 3. They've had Lukey? Just Lukey as an injury, whereas all these other clubs like Penrith have had a few injuries, the Para have had a few injuries. I think it really just depends, but it'll only get better and better every year, to be honest, like as teams figure out what the best type of balance for their players are.
Sports science.
Chris Barkat, who to get this week between Garrick and Tago? What are Tago's scores without Cleary?
Off the top of my head, I'd go Garrick just because of the goal kicking factor. I think he can bank like an extra 18, 20 points-ish in that side. Maybe that's a bit higher than the average of what he would get per game for goal kicking. I could be being a little generous there, but, roughly. Tago is great. He's strong when he runs. He's hard to handle. He tackle busts. He's good at finding the line and scoring. You just have to, keep aware that the last 2 weeks, Tago was very fortunate to be running at defences that were, all
Pretty
over the
shot.
shop because of, someone being out of position, being injured. So he's running at either second rowers or that you're not used to defending where they were. So had it a little bit easier. So, pull expectations back. You can't be expecting those scores on the regular.
Yeah, and Cleary's also out for 4 weeks now. So
but he's still a good thing.
He's still a good thing. Cleary's out for 4 weeks now, so he's not getting that quality try assist that the Cleary ran across the field, put him straight in that hole. You won't get that.
Yeah.
So that's 30 points right there. That takes him down to 70 with a try. Base is about 40.
Tago's probably going to make a lot of money though. So if you're kind of thinking, I don't think I'll keep him forever. I'm kind of liking the look of him. Let's give him a run, and then once he peaks in price, and maybe his scores come down to earth a bit after a couple of weeks, maybe you can move him on to someone else. But I think Garrick's you can hold him probably through Origin. There's an outside chance that Tago may make the Origin side.
His break even is -21, so good point in he's going to make money. So maybe over the next 2 weeks, he goes up. He genuinely could go up to nearly 900k, which is crazy.
Trying to just give the pros and cons of both, but probably prefer Garrick.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Garrick. Outside of Cleary and Hines, what are the next best halfbacks? I've looked at the halfback position and looked at who to trade in. Luke Brooks is the next best averaging halfback at 64. That's even with Moses, and Moses killed it last round. I just think he's either not a sell, you hold on to him, or you sit back, wait a week, and potentially Jerome Hughes is the guy.
So he's most likely going to come back for round 7 v the Tigers, but they could hold him back that round and just go, let's just give Schneider another week, give Nate one more week to rest up. So maybe it's week 8 that he comes back. This can be an exciting time of year when Nath goes down and his
annual downing.
Yeah, it creates a little bit of a fork in the road. The year I won, everyone was going to SJ. I went to DCE. I thought SJ in that Sharky side looked like not a great thing, and I thought that DCE looked like a great thing at that time. But at this time of year, I don't think there's a real clear standout. So unless you've identified, you think one's like really an opportunity to sort of get ahead of the others. It might be worth the hold, but I don't. Yeah, you mentioned in the car ride Jerome Hughes. You don't mind him. I also don't mind Ben Hunt. He can be very up and down. He can put out some very poor sort of 30 scores occasionally, sometimes a bit too frequently even. However, I don't know. Just the way that with Flanagan in that side, I just think he's freed up a bit more. They do look like they have better attack. Like their side looks. They're not playing the 80 minutes, but they do have a bit of oomph around the side. And, I think he does have big scores in him. He does occasionally get that big 120, 150.
Yeah.
But you'd maybe have a closer look at their draw. I think it's a bit hard for it to be good when they're not one of the greatest sides themselves. But I think they have had a few of the easier sides already.
Yeah,
maybe.
So he scored 77 in week 1. 79 in last week. His break even is 68, so he's not necessarily a rush-in, but they're playing at home versus Manly, which they usually score pretty well against. He scored 32 against the Dolphins. He has Manly, Newcastle, Tigers, Warriors, Roosters, but after that Tigers matchup, I know the Tigers did really well on the weekend. So I guess we get a better gauge of how they are as a team over the next couple of weeks, but then he plays the Warriors, the Roosters, and the Sharks, and that's about the time that Cleary comes back. So his draw is pretty good considering for his standards.
Don't mind Brooks as well. Like I got Brooks, but I sort of brought him in as a 5'8" for my side.
I just don't like Manly's draw after this week.
Yeah, and with Brooks, I mean, he looks great when he's running around. He looks really rejuvenated. I feel like he can have. I've been lucky to sort of. I've only owned him 1 week, but the scores he's landed on, I feel like he's kind of been lucky to sort of get in that middle zone. He could either fallen right very, very low, but he could have also been unlucky, and there's some games where he could have gone tons. So it's a bit. I think you will get games out of him where they might be like 90 to a ton. You'll be, oh, mad game, but you will get those quite a few 30s, but more often it'll sort of sit around the 50-ish mark.
Yep.
So I don't think none of them are real slam dunks, hey?
Nah. Brett Sims, I'm still okay with all the carnage, so looking to trade in Willison and Fainu for the cash grab. Do you like Willison and Fainu this week?
I was really hot on Fainu after the first game when he scored that 72. I was trying to watch him last week a bit more because I was keen on possibly bringing him in, but I thought he was available at prop. I've got him confused with his brother, who's also in that side. One of his brothers that's also in that side. He does look like a prop, but
he's 263k, negative 32 break even. He played 46 minutes on the weekend and 58 minutes the week before. Yeah, so only scored 33 on the weekend.
Big 70 the first week. Yeah, he's. I think in that side he's going to get a bit of a go. You know what I mean? I think they seem to like him.
46 minutes is pretty good, but the PPM.
Yeah, it's not ideal. You're probably not going to want to be playing him most weeks, and not so. The fact that he does have a bit of upside in him there. But Xavier Willison, of course, he's got a bit of upside there. We've seen that in the trials.
Willison, 51 in 42 minutes.
Yeah, I'd probably lean
I like Willison more.
I feel like Fainu's a little bit exciting and a bit unknown.
But in that second row spot as well, like if you got Joe Chan there, I don't think you should have another guy like that there.
Yeah, that is
like
risky.
I think your last slot is for a guy like this.
Wilson's a dual, isn't he? Too. He's got
no.
He's not both.
He's just front row.
Oh right,
front row. Yep. Dan Verma? Who's going to benefit from all the injuries? Liam Henry.
You think he's going to benefit more?
Well, he scored 55 on the weekend after the JFH injury, so I guess he's benefited and will benefit still. So
yeah,
I
think they're looking for more like
upside players.
Yeah, like who's the guy that now emerges? Is there a guy that? You know?
I think with Parramatta, Dylan Brown benefits from this. Hands on the ball a bit more.
Yeah, I sold him last week, which was to try avoid selling Harry because I wanted to downgrade someone. I'm a bit mixed on this one. Hey, I feel like he. The side could struggle, and maybe he's, trying to play more of a halfback role. Maybe there's a bit more organising going and just more distributing, where less runs. Maybe the quality of ball's not as great. I'm not 100% sure that he, because he takes on a bigger role, it's that necessarily a greater thing. But I am also scared that more ball in his hands means more runs, more chances. So, I feel like it meets in the middle, though, because the team goes back a bit.
I think with the Tino injury, someone like Jermaine Jolliffe played 47 minutes on the weekend for 51, front row 480k. Probably a bit much for my liking, but...
Gutho? Probably a good one. That's probably the best one to mention.
Oh, yeah. I think...
Goal kicking comes into play for him as well.
The fact that he's only available at fullback with this hot fullback field, I just hate it at this time of year.
Well, I know a certain listener of the show is actually looking at him this week, but I think he might be going elsewhere now. But Liam Howie,
yeah. All right, we've got a couple more questions. Joseph Vinter, my halves have hit rock bottom. I have Moses, Munster, Keary, and Flanagan. What are your thoughts on direction for the future?
That's what he's got.
Sorry?
He's got Munster, does he?
Yeah, weird.
Poor bugger.
I also have to use one trade on Walsh this week.
Man,
oh, my God. Hines, get in Hines. And I don't know.
I think Hines was looking a bit not a great thing. And I wasn't even considering selling. But with now Nath going down, you kind of just go...
You need to have him now.
Yeah, and just trust that he'll come good.
Yeah.
Or hope that he'll come good.
Levi Crookshank, if Nathan comes back round 7, what half has the best draw? Walker is the easy option, kicks goals, but who is the pod? I actually don't mind the Sam Walker shout. Obviously, he plays the Penrith Panthers this week, but I'll get up his draw after that. He does play the Bulldogs the week after with a break-even of 95, so maybe he's someone that...
And some of these other fullbacks like DCE, they've got bigger break-evens. They're like 150-ish, I think, or close to that maybe.
So break-even of 95, plays Penrith this week, under-strength Penrith, but then plays the Bulldogs, Newcastle, and then Melbourne, St George. So
Good thing is too about Sammy Walker is I don't know if Kiri's due back this week. We haven't got TLT yet. It was a head knock, but I think they might want to be cautious with Kiri. He's had so many head knocks that even though Sandon Smith is unavailable,
it's irrelevant.
Well, it is relevant.
Well, no, it's irrelevant when people are listening to it because they'll know.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I don't know at the moment, so I'm trying to preface that. But the point is he could be the sole main half with, it might be Joey Manu there. He could be a lot more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Involved. He also, kicks goals too. A lot of these other guys
and
don't.
like 2 tries for 55 on the weekend. They weren't line break tries. He went off early, but he has that in him.
Yeah, that's what he does. You know what I mean? He has a little kick for himself, regather. He's a sneaky little player. He's got the try-assist loop rainbow himself too.
That's definitely going to be my tactic this week. Just sit on my hands, see how Walker goes, and then recess next week, go maybe Walker or Hughes.
I like that. The thing is with Cleary, people are stressing, but he's not going to lose any money. He's not playing. So if you're not 100% sold, just chill out for a week.
And like Sam Walker plays Penrith this week. There's no point buying him this week.
Yeah, wait a week. Yep, don't force it.
Luke Mook, last question. I have Moses Cleary, Lukey Piakura, Peaky, May, and Chan. Any ideas how I use my 3 trades to bring in 7 replacements this week? I think players like Chan, Piakura, I guess Cleary to some extent. Cleary's just awkward because he's so expensive, but all these guys are going to come back shortly, whereas the players like Moses, Lukey, all have long-term injuries. So,
you kind of hope Chan comes back. He could be just lingering for a while.
Well, I wouldn't sell Chan. He's at a price where you just wait for him to have another game. But yeah, I would prioritise these other guys who are out longer.
Unless you've got lots of bank.
Yeah, I'd prioritise these other guys who are out longer. So, Tulpeeky's probably someone you can sell because Chance Nickel-Coxad's due back anyway. Lukey is out for 6 weeks, so I'd go Lukey to like Kai Pearce-Paul or Fini Fuiaki. I think they're pretty good options to bank some cash. And, Moses to one of these other guys. Again, Moses isn't going to lose money, so it's a good week to kind of do that. But that's it for the questions. Thanks for coming on, Timmy. Obviously, you're here every week, but I did it by myself last week because you were in the Daily Telegraph. But, yeah, cheers for tuning in, and good luck with your SuperCoach. Good